Errol,
There's the coward.
do you have a problem with stardust in a cosmically indifferent universe hurting other stardust?
This and everything. Don't you have Scientologists to harass?
I think you need to
Or
go back
Mormons.
to Hollywood.
Notice that you don't have a response.
Come on.
You don't have a response. When you
Catholics.
change the subject,
What
when you change the subject, it demonstrates that you don't have any intellectual position to argue from.
What religion do you not harass?
What's that?
What religion do you not harass?
Harass. You mean
And I made every
who do I not tell the gospel
You've been to
to?
Hollywood Boulevard.
Nobody. Yeah.
That you have charged me.
I've been to
Yeah,
Ireland
Mormons.
preaching the gospel.
By
I've
your
been
biblical
to
standard,
Australia, New
you don't
Zealand,
like
all over
Catholics?
Canada, North America,
You don't
everywhere.
like Catholics? Who do you like?
We love
Calvinists?
Catholics and we preach the
That's
gospel
fine.
to Catholics.
I'll
no,
that.
you really
You got
don't like
one.
Catholics.
And we do.
Now,
We
the
care for
second
them.
one.
You
Let
complain
me ask
about
you.
their 40 days of grace.
Let me ask you.
Because they're so quiet.
Let me ask you.
What
Um,
last time that we committed a homosexual
In
act?
terms of loving
when
other
you
people
can produce that.
and
When
truth,
you can produce that.
if you
I
believe
will
that somebody
vote for
is
you.
in error,
When you
right?
can produce that,
If you love
will
them,
have
what do you
brought
do
me to
about it?
Jesus Christ. I will
You have
publicly
to
repent.
define that question
When you
way
can
more
If,
better
if
than
you
that.
love somebody and you love the truth,
Okay.
and you see somebody who's not in the truth, what does love demand of you?
When you can bring those two witnesses
If somebody
to
is
witness that
lost and you
when
believe they're
I
in
committed
error,
the
what
last
does love
homosexual
do?
act. Only
Yeah,
the
I don't
last
even know
one.
how to
That's
answer
not a
that
difficult
question
task
because
to
that's
do.
a stupid question.
Okay.
No,
and that's
no,
the
no,
problem.
it is.
Do you love
I'm not
truth?
answering the questions. I'm here to
Do you love
indict
truth?
You're saying
I'm
that
here
if
to
I
indict you
love
because
this
you
man
committed
who's
the
not a
false
Satanist
charge. You bore the false
and
witness.
he will not become a Satanist, what should I do with him because he's not a Satanist?
No,
If
I won't
somebody's
say
in
love
error,
because
if
I know-
somebody's in
I
error-
know
I think
exactly
he's
where
in
you're
error.
getting at. You're trying
Okay.
to dip out of this
For not being a
And
Satanist.
what
You're trying to
what
dip
does
out
love
of this
demand
effect.
of you
And
if
I'm not
somebody
gonna
is in
let it happen.
error?
I
I
still
know
love
the
him.
truth. You just
Okay, true,
addressed
but what does
the
love
entire
do?
crowd
What does it
and said
do?
that I'm a homosexual.
Love lets me live
Again,
his own
so there's
life.
three.
So would you say that to the child molester? Would you
I
let
would
them
say
live their
that
own
to
life?
any Christian child molester.
Let me ask you a question. If there was a child molester, somebody's molesting children, unrepentant, they do it and they love it, do you challenge them?
You mean like a priest?
Sure, like a priest. Do you challenge them?
Yes, you do.
Okay, good. So love actually does the hard work of confronting evil.
Love has nothing to do with the person committing the crime. Love has something to do with the person being
The
molested.
victim.
Yes.
Fantastic. So love demands of you to speak out against something that's wrong, correct?
Exactly.
Fantastic. Well, Jesus says he
Now
is the way
you're gonna twist
and the
this into
truth.
saying,
That
I
Jesus
believe
is the
something
truth.
Here
No,
is
no,
wrong.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me.
Okay.
You challenged the fact that we go out and we try to love and witness to people of different religions because we care for them.
Did you see that we were at the same church like the week before you?
No, I didn't see it. What do you mean?
No, we were at the same Hollywood Boulevard thing last week.
Oh, were you in Hollywood this week? You were there this week?
It was the same guy in the same security
Oh, the
outfit.
security guy, right? Wasn't he
And
intense?
he's like,
He was intense, wasn't
it's
he?
like, what are you gonna do?
I know. Did he give you like the hard look he gave to us?
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
really?
You know what's interesting
you just wish to
is
walk
that
away.
when we were there, they were stopping everybody. Well, you know that. You were there.
Yeah.
But when
The personality test and all that.
yeah, when he walked up to us and
Which takes 4 hours.
it does say 4 hours.
That's what some of the locals told me.
Wow, that's intense.
I was gonna take it, but I
he
got
just
4 hours to go.
I know who does. He shoves the guy out of the way. We were just talking, and he shoves the guy out of the way, and the guy just obeyed. He was like,
The
shoop.
security guy?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Just shoves him out of the way. The guy just obeyed.
They got a lot of money.
But so he starts recording me, which is fine. He starts recording me, but then he texts
They're
somebody.
used to that.
I know. He starts texting somebody, and then he just gives me this really hard look. So we were like, all right, God bless you guys, and we walked away.
What are you gonna do, kid?
So we start looking behind us, and there's this dude that comes around the corner, and he's following us for like a block and a half.
We saw that too.
Yeah, and so we finally stopped and turned around, and the guy saw that we were looking at him. He was just pretending like he didn't, he's like this. And he turns around the other way. We were being followed. We were being followed for like a block and a half, 2 blocks. It was intense. I mean,
it was weird.
Yeah. And you were at that same Scientology building?
Yeah, we were there. I think you posted the video a couple days ago.
Yeah.
We were there a week before that on Wednesday.
Okay, what were you guys doing out there?
I had a rally and I gave a speech
Okay.
for human rights, civil rights, things like that.
Okay.
Um,
So can I ask you a question about that?
of course you can.
You have an obvious dedication to what you believe is the truth, and you care about other human beings, and you don't want to see injustice, and you don't want to see oppression of any sort, right?
Of course.
Okay, so I admire that about you.
Don't trap me.
I'm not trapping you. I mean that sincerely. It shows, I think, the image of God in you. You care about other human beings.
You know better than that.
But I think it does.
No, it does
now, from
not.
my position, I have a reason to look at what you do and say, that makes sense to me. And I don't know exactly what you believe, but I would assume you're an atheist?
I'm an atheist
humanist.
humanist.
Humanist, you're part of the Satanic Temple?
I'm a non-theistic Satanist.
Satanist, right, okay.
Yeah.
So you're an atheist, and I just want to ask you, okay, not in any kind of mean-spirited way, but how do you make sense of the desire for justice that you have, the care for other human beings, when you believe fundamentally that all of our ancestors were fish, were evolved from highly evolved societies of bacteria, that there's no justice ahead of any of us, it's only sky above us, that we live in a universe that doesn't care? How do you justify it as an atheist?
I don't believe that those two things correlate to each other. I don't believe that my belief that we came from the Big Bang Theory and then we evolved into this and everything else. My belief in, and actually it began with my civil rights issues, my humanist issues, was when I became transgender.
Okay.
And I went from one side of the street to the other side of the world. I gave up the greatest privilege in the world, being a white male, and I became the most marginalized person in the world. And when I saw what was pushed upon me, that made me really, really, really cognizant of what other marginalized minorities believe. Because when I was a white male, which we're not going to argue that, you're not going to argue that.
That you're a white male?
When I was, don't try to twist it. I'm trying to explain this to you, okay?
I'm listening.
I was assigned male at birth. People believed I was a white male. I had the most privilege in the world. But when I lost that, when I followed my true belief, my true faith, if you may, and followed the path that I was supposed to be on, I saw how other minorities were treated. And I was one of those. I still am one of those.
And it hurts you.
It opened my eyes.
No, I understand that. Now, Jocelyn, I'm going to ask you. So I hear all that. No, I understand your plight and how you feel.
This guy's going to twist it so badly.
No. I wouldn't allow him. So with what you say, you still haven't given me an answer from an atheist perspective as to how any of that means anything. All of our ancestors came from bacteria.
That has nothing to do with
it. Has everything. It has everything to do with it.
No.
You are evolved pond scum.
No, that has nothing to do with it. You asked me the question.
That's not an answer.
About why do I believe what I believe?
Right. No, I'm asking for a justification.
That has nothing to do with pond scum.
I'm asking for a justification.
Theoretic physicists right here at Arizona State University, they can argue over the both of our heads.
They wouldn't be able to answer this either. I'm asking you for a moral justification for your concern for other human beings.
What is your moral justification for saying the Bible is true?
Do you want
All you have is a book.
No. I would say the Bible says that if you reject him,
I'm answering the Bible.
I'm answering, of course. The Bible says that if you reject God, if you reject his word, you reject who he is and what he says about you, you become a fool. One example of becoming a fool is you will live in God's world, denying his existence, believing that you came from pond scum, and then crying out for justice, which is foolishness. Listen, descendants of bacteria have no moral obligation to other descendants of bacteria. Now, but you do care. You do care. And that's the image of God that you can't shake loose. You can't get rid of it. You desire justice, you attribute value and dignity to all these human beings around you, Jocelyn, and I admire that about you, but your worldview can't justify it. You have no reason, no basis. See, from your perspective, Jocelyn, if I said, I'll bite down, I'll accept, Jocelyn, what you say about the world. There is no God, I'll believe Dawkins, all there is blind and pitiless indifference, there is no good, there is no evil. Then if I adopt that position, Jocelyn, I wouldn't be out here doing what you're doing.
So can you quote me an explanation that does not involve the Bible? Something that explains our world that does not involve your book and the Bible.
Well, that's impossible in God's world. Can I show you how? Can I show you how it doesn't work? And just hear this, and I want to hear what you have to say. Imagine for a second you said to me, Jeff, I believe in reason, right? I believe in reason. I believe it has to be logical. That's the fundamental basis of all questions and truth is reason, rationality, right? And what if I said to you, Jocelyn, okay, that's your starting point, that's your standard. And what if I said to you, okay, can you give me a reason for believing reason is the foundation for everything without using your reason? Do you see how that doesn't work? You see, all ultimates are just that, Jocelyn, ultimates. And if God is the ultimate, then he is the foundation for everything. He's the principium, the source of all knowledge and all truth. You're doing the very same thing I'm doing with reason, right? But I'm doing it with God. And with God, I can have reason and science and morality, but you can't justify an appeal to reason. Because in your worldview, what is reason, Jocelyn? What is reason?
So what is your reason for believing in God?
If you reject him, if you reject God, you become a fool.
What scientific proof do you have?
Well, I'll give you this. You can't have science without... I'll give it to you right now. Ready?
Don't lie.
Well, why would you demand that of me when your ancestors were fish? Is lying a moral failure?
My ancestors were Germans, but anyway.
Very good. That's a good one. Okay, but I'm talking a little farther back, okay? But why would you... Watch this. Just think about that, Jocelyn, for a second. And I want to get back to the science thing. But when you said, don't lie, you just expected me to hold to some absolute moral standard.
You're preaching the Bible.
No. I'm talking about what you said. You said don't lie. But from your perspective, if I use your worldview, why not lie?
So both of us think that each of us are lying.
No.
Even though we hold that sincerely
I didn't accuse you.
in our
I didn't
hearts.
accuse you of that just now.
No, both of us, but we both believe it because you believe as an atheist that I'm lying. I'm lying to God. I'm lying to whatever.
No, on this point, Jocelyn, I think you're not hearing me. On this point, I'm talking about you accused me. You said don't lie, and you acted like Jocelyn, like that matters. But you're an atheist. There's no God. There's no reason. No, it doesn't. Not as an atheist.
Matters.
I'm going to take your atheism. Ready? My ancestors came here through unguided, unpurposed processes. I am the descendant of cosmic accidents. There is no justice ahead of me. I'll take Dawkins. There is no good. There is no evil. I have no obligation with that not to lie to you.
Okay.
That's your worldview.
No, it's not.
But you see, if you take my worldview...
No, my worldview has morals.
How? You're bipedal protoplasm in a cosmos that doesn't care.
Okay, I grasp my head around that one.
It's crazy, right? Do you see the foolishness?
No, I still care. I care
I
about
know
right and
you
wrong.
do because, Jocelyn, you're in the image of God.
I know right and wrong. No, God
You're in
has
the image of
nothing to do
God.
with it.
Listen, you have to decide. Do I want value and dignity? Do I want
I already
morals?
have that.
Ready? Do I want to have a basis for it? Or do I want to abandon all of that and embrace my satanic atheism? Make a decision, Jocelyn.
Not theistic.
Okay.
Satanism.
Okay.
Satanism.
Okay. But
It's not theistic.
Jocelyn,
I cannot believe in Jesus Christ.
Jocelyn,
because
your
there was
rejection
so-
of him leads you to foolishness.
There were so many gods before him that showed the same resurrection story.
Humanity
the
is
same
humanity.
birth from a virgin
Humanity is
story.
no question idolatrous and pagan. But Jocelyn, I just want to say this to you,
it's
respect.
all been plagiarized.
Because listen,
Come
Jocelyn.
on.
Let me encourage you, because this is all being recorded. I want to honestly encourage you not to say something that would demonstrate that you haven't even done your homework. When you try to compare
Meaning what?
when you try to compare the story of Jesus with other pagan
To
myths,
Osiris?
with other pagan myths, you demonstrate, ready?
It's the same
that you
story.
haven't done your homework.
Yes, I have.
Okay, ready? So you think stories in history like a god who was created by other gods, who dies and comes to life in the underworld, that's a resurrection story?
I don't know what that story is.
That's one of the stories that you're referring to. Do you think that it's a virgin birth if a woman gives birth to an elephant? That compares to the story of Jesus? It's unparalleled, Jocelyn.
That'd be better than the story of Jesus.
Well, I think, Jocelyn, with your atheism, you've embraced foolishness. And without Jesus, you have no basis, and you've already granted it, for morality, for science, for reason. You have no basis.
My problem, Mr. Durbin, is I've seen so much hatred towards me in the church my entire life.
And listen,
how can I embrace Christianity when I've seen so much hatred towards me, even as a child? I mean, come on. How do you hate a child?
I'm
Only Christians can hate a child.
listen.
Atheists
I want to say
cannot.
this to you, and I'm not using this as a debate point at all. I apologize for every person who's ever abused you and mistreated you. Okay? And I want to say that those Christians, if they abused you and mistreated you, they were acting inconsistently with what Jesus himself says. They're only demonstrating that they're sinners just like you, who need the grace of God and need forgiveness.
But atheists have never abused me.
But have you noticed this?
Atheists have
Have you
never-
noticed this? You're charging and indicting Christians for
Yes, I
moral
am.
failures, right?
Yes, I am.
That you cannot justify apart from Jesus. Do you see that? You have to borrow
I
from
don't
Jesus.
understand that question.
Okay, think about it for a moment now. You're an atheist who believes that we are evolved pond scum, and you're indicting Christians.
Nice quote.
It's true.
They'll get that.
It's true. And you're indicting Christians who have a basis for morality, who have absolute standards of truth and morality. You're indicting them for being unloving and unkind to you. But with your atheism, you have no moral complaint.
I wasn't an atheist then.
I'm saying now.
I wasn't then.
No, listen.
I wanted to believe in God then.
Then let me share this
And
with you.
they destroyed that in me.
Let me share this with you.
They destroyed that.
Let me share this with you. Those Christians who sinned against you.
They didn't sin.
Okay.
They spoke their true mind.
Okay. And if they abused you, they were sinning
They never
against
abused me.
I thought you said they did.
No, they're
Unkind. Unloving.
unkind.
They were unloving.
Yeah, they never abused me. Not like a priest abusing
No,
someone.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
I don't want to twist
I mean,
it like that.
I mean being
I want to be truthful in
unloving.
this whole thing. 'Cause it's going to go viral.
Because you're in the image of God.
No, I'm not.
Because you have to have
No, I'm
truth. Because
not.
you have to have justice.
Am I in the image of God?
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. God says about
friends
you,
have already said
you
I'm
are in
not.
the image. They never would say that about you.
They've already
They
said
would
it.
never say you're not in the
already
image
said
of
it.
God.
They've
No,
already
they,
said
no,
I'm a
they.
sinner.
Let me. Yes, I'm in the image of God, and I'm a sinner.
Don't give me that. I was born a sinner.
I am a
please.
sinner.
That's the ultimate guilt trip. You're born, and then you're a sinner. You have to repent
Why is that a
your
problem?
whole life.
There's no God. There's no good. There's no evil.
Are you telling me a baby is born in sin?
We're all born of the same parents. Yeah,
No,
we're
we're
all
not.
born fallen,
We're
sinful
not born
human
in
beings.
sin.
Now, here's the thing.
When we're
Why is it a
born, we're
problem?
pure.
Why is it a problem to believe that we're born in sin? Is that a moral failure? You're an atheist. Stick to your atheism. You're acting like it matters that we tell things that are true.
We're not born in sin, and you know that.
No, I do know that we are because God has spoken.
We're born in sin for something that happened allegedly 4,000 years ago.
Jocelyn, can I say this to you?
How does my
Jocelyn,
birth,
can I say this to you?
how has it been affected by somebody 4,000
Can I-
years
can I
ago
say this to
that
you?
ate an apple? Come
You-
on, that's
it wasn't
silly.
an apple.
Okay, what was it?
Nobody
what did
knows.
the serpent give him?
Nobody knows. God made a command to them. He would bless them, and He said, "Don't do this." It could
So
have been anything.
everybody was born.
God could have said, "Don't pick up sticks. Don't turn that direction. Don't give somebody a mean stare." The point was, is God said, "I'm the Creator. I created all things. I created you to be in intimate relationship with me and one another. And here's what I'm saying: don't do. Don't do this." And they said, "No, I'll choose for myself. I'm going to do it." And they rebelled.
Eating
now
from the
watch.
tree of knowledge.
Watch. You just said, we're not sinners. We're not born in sin. And yet you identified for me how all these people have sinned against you and hurt you in your life. And Johnson, can I say this to you?
They didn't hurt me.
Can
They
I-
discouraged me from Christianity.
Is that a problem?
Yes.
Why is it a problem?
If you want to save me,
Is it a moral
that's
failure?
A problem.
Is it a moral failure?
It's a moral failure on
Oh,
Christians.
and why does that matter? Are there absolute
I'm
standards?
an atheist. It doesn't matter.
Are there absolutes? I know it doesn't. Thank you. You just granted it.
But I got a question. So you mentioned the man picking up sticks. So the man picking up sticks on Sunday that was condemned to death.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
He wasn't just randomly picking up sticks. He defied God to his face. That is
And he picked up some sticks.
And that is what he did. He was defying God to his face. Now watch. I have a worldview that can make sense of that. But your worldview says that all of us, we're just protoplasm in a cosmically indifferent universe. And
You
yet
don't
here
know
you
what I
are.
believe.
You told me you're an atheist.
Yeah, I'm
Do you
an
believe in the
atheist.
Big Bang?
Huh?
You believe in Darwinian evolution?
I don't know what I believe.
Okay.
But I don't know that Christianity. I don't know that the Bible is.
Jocelyn.
I don't believe the Bible's
Jocelyn.
real. I cannot believe that.
Let me tell you, my love.
If the Bible was real, show me evidence of the flood.
I'll give you.
Show
well,
me
that's all over.
evidence.
That's all over. I don't think that's
All
a problem
over
for you.
where?
I don't think that's a problem for you.
Where is
Jocelyn, I don't think your problem is evidence
Show me
for the flood.
archaeological.
I don't think your problem is evidence for the flood. And over 200 cultures across and around the world that have the flood story and narrative in their story. The Hopi Indians who tell the same story. I don't think your problem is evidence for the flood with all the different levels of sediment all over the world that we can examine. Animals found at higher levels up here that shouldn't be there, that obviously was the result of a catastrophic flood.
Where's your proof of that?
Your problem isn't evidence. Watch.
Your proof of that.
Your atheism leaves you in a position where you have no basis to talk about evidence at all because you have no justification for logic, no justification for science.
I'm agnostic in all things.
Okay, great.
I will believe what is proven to me.
Great. Let me do this then. When you talk about proof requires logic,
Granted.
absolute standards of logic,
Granted.
universal,
Granted.
unchanging,
Granted.
necessary.
Granted.
Okay. It requires a universe where there's induction. The future will be like the past. It requires
I
integrity.
don't know about that. But
Okay, well, you said science. All science is based on induction.
I'm not a scientist.
That's fine. All science is based off induction.
I don't know about the future.
That's fine.
the
I'll
past, and all
just
that.
throw it out so you don't have to answer it, just so you have it.
Okay.
All science is based upon induction, that the future will be like the past, that the world is uniform. Okay? And all proof requires integrity, that I not lie to you while I tell you something, right? Now, all those things.
I don't think you would.
Thank you.
To the best of your knowledge.
All of those things require a justification. Now, I can justify all those things with the God that's revealed himself in the Bible. So, for example,
that's not justification.
take this for example. Ready?
That's not scientific proof.
Two people. Ready? I'm saying that laws of logic are universal, they are necessary and unchanging, and I believe that they are immaterial. Right? You're an atheist. Now, you tell me why you believe as an atheist people must hold to laws of logic.
He's going to put the words in my mouth.
You're assuming that atheists believe in laws of logic. I know that's going to come across badly.
So you say you don't?
I believe in logic. I believe in reason. I believe in
Is it
my
absolute?
own moral code. My own moral code is probably more absolute than your Ten Commandments.
Well, we're talking about logic. We'll get to that in a minute, but logic, laws of logic. You said prove it. In order to prove anything, you need logic. Now, I'm asking you as an atheist, are laws of logic universal? You said yes.
Jeff.
Are they necessary?
You've
Yes.
been doing this for 10 years. You're very good at
No, Jocelyn, I just want to talk to you. I just want to talk to you. I'm not twisting anything. As an atheist.
You're trying to catch me in the
I'm not.
catch-22
Nope.
for those idiots.
No, I'm asking you just to give me an answer. Why must I hold to the laws of logic with atheism? I know how I do as a Christian.
Why must you hold the laws of logic with Christianity?
Okay, great. I'll answer that. Laws of logic, are they made of matter? Let me ask you that. Are they material? Can we hold on to them?
To the best of my knowledge.
No. You can't smell a law of logic. You can't taste one. You can't grab one. Laws of logic are abstract entities. They're universal, unchanging entities, right? They're immaterial. They're not made of matter. Now, in your universe, in an atheistic universe, all we have is matter and motion. There are no immaterial entities, but in my worldview, there's not just the material realm, there's the immaterial. And there's God who is spirit, who
There's
is
the
unchanging.
mythological
Well, let me
realm.
answer. There is God who is unchanging, right? Who cannot lie. That is to say, God can't engage in logical contradiction. Our thinking is to be a reflection of His thinking. In His light, we see light. God demands of us that we're consistent. And God even says this, Jocelyn, come let us reason together, says the Lord. I have a basis as a Christian to demand laws of logic. But listen, Jocelyn, you're an atheist.
Yes, I am.
Laws of logic can't exist in your worldview.
So describe to me Christianity and logic.
I just did.
No, you did not.
I don't think you were listening.
I was listening.
Can I ask you this? And I don't mean this to be abusive. Have you been drinking this morning?
Not at all.
What's that?
Not at all.
I can smell a little bit of it. That might be part of the problem as to why a lot of this isn't catching. I don't mean that to be abusive to you, but I mean that in sincerity. I don't think you just heard what I said to you. I gave you the Christian
No,
justification.
you're saying Christians can claim logic, but atheists can't.
I just gave you a justification.
that?
I gave you a justification. Now, what is your justification for immaterial, universal, abstract entities like laws of logic?
You're a pro at this. You've been doing.
Let me ask you this.
10
I'll
years.
ask you in a simpler way. All right, can I touch logic?
No.
No, thank you. Good. Okay. Is logic necessary in Iceland and in Arizona?
It depends on what you're doing with it.
Is it unchanging? Are laws of logic unchanging?
I think logic changed.
You think it changes?
Yeah.
It changes.
Yeah.
So right now, if I was to just start speaking to you in gibberish, right? When you said to me, if you say, Jeff, prove God to me, and I started saying, and apples and Planned Parenthood, ground, red, and rock. Ha-ha, I proved God to you. Would you accept it?
I would think you were speaking in tongues.
Would you? Very good. But would you accept it as logical?
No.
Because logic doesn't change, Jocelyn, and you know that.
How do you know it doesn't change?
Well, because your reasoning right now, well, I would say, first of all, the character of God, but your reasoning right now demonstrating
can't keep going back to that.
Well, I have a basis for laws of logic, and you've demonstrated you don't.
I have demonstrated that I do.
No, you don't. Hey, listen, Jocelyn, why must I, as a bag of biological stuff, hold to laws of logic? Why?
I don't even know what that question means.
That's the
Now,
problem.
come on.
That's the problem, Jocelyn. But Jocelyn,
That's just a silly
listen,
little question
Jocelyn,
to trap people
Jocelyn,
like me.
come here.
You know
But
that
I'm not
question's gonna
trapping
trap
you.
people
I'm
like
not
me
trapping
because
you.
It's a dumb
No,
question.
you're demanding of us that we use laws of logic, that we use science. But Jocelyn, listen, you don't have any basis. You don't have any basis
I
to
do.
hold to it. You don't.
Yes, I do.
You, Jocelyn, you haven't given any reason.
Yes, I do.
Jocelyn, I care for you. I love you. Listen, I know that this.
I know you all care for me
I
and love
do.
me, even though you out me on your Facebook pages and everything
Jocelyn,
else.
we only care for you. Is it true?
What's gonna happen if something happens
is
to
it-
me
is it
because
true?
some idiot sees a Facebook page of you and comes after me
No.
because he dislikes me?
Jocelyn,
for
I
what
I
am?
would despise something like that.
It's
listen,
happened.
Listen. Look, from my heart, do I believe that what you are doing is sinful and rebellious? Yes, but listen, Jocelyn,
No,
please let me finish.
No,
Let me finish the one thought.
No, you just made it what I'm doing.
No.
I'm not doing anything. I'm living my life.
I know.
The way my
I
life
want you to
was
hear.
supposed to
I
be.
just want you to hear. Listen, you can disagree, but do I believe it? Yes. But do I hate you? Do I have any lack of love
Then
for you?
why do you
No.
oppose me?
No, because I love you.
No.
And I love God.
No, that doesn't work.
Listen, God said.
When you oppose someone, you dislike them.
God
it's
said-
not because you love them.
God said, love him, love our neighbors.
We're going back to this
It
guy
is out of my love for him and you that I am standing here right now pleading with you. Turn from your sin to Christ. Jocelyn, listen, can I say
I have no sins.
One more thing. You have to hear this. We're not saying to you, Jocelyn, you need to turn from your transgenderism and become a straight person and then you'll be saved. We're saying, listen, it's more than just your sexuality. It's for me more than my sexuality. I am in my past sexually broken and sinful and rebellious. It's not just my sexuality that's distorted. It's the way that I love God and love everyone. It's my sin, my pride, my fallenness. It's not, Jocelyn, we're not saying, Jocelyn, become a straight person, God will then love you. We're saying, Jocelyn, you got nothing. You got nothing to offer him. You are broken and fallen.
I don't
and
wanna
you
offer
need
him
Jesus.
anything. I don't want to offer him anything.
You need to be forgiven and cleansed.
How can you offer something to someone you don't believe in?
If
I mean, come on, Jeff.
listen. If somebody said,
That's like me offering
Jocelyn,
something to the Easter Bunny.
Jocelyn, if somebody said, I don't believe in laws of logic, therefore they don't
We're
exist.
going back to this again.
I'm asking
Whatever.
you about it.
This is your stone cold argument,
No.
which I'm not
It's
familiar with,
one aspect.
and that's fine.
It's one aspect. If someone told you, forget me for a moment, okay? If someone told you, hey, Jocelyn, I don't believe in laws of logic, therefore they don't exist, therefore I don't have to appeal to them, what would you say to that person?
You're going to twist that around.
I won't
so
twist it. I'm asking
no
you.
comment.
I want to know what would you say to them?
I'm going to say that doesn't exist. But you're going to twist that around to saying logic only exists
No, you're missing me. You're
by
missing-
God.
No, you're missing me. Yeah, it's totally
And
different.
if you're an atheist,
it's a
you
different
don't believe
subject.
it.
A different subject. If somebody said to you, Jocelyn, I don't believe in laws of logic. I don't think I have to hold to them. Therefore, they don't exist. I think you'd be like, you're telling tales out of the schoolyard. You're crazy. You have to hold a lot. I don't care if you believe in logic. It's the truth. It's necessary. It's like this. There's a shirt that says, "Gravity. It's not just a good idea. It's the law." Right? You can say, I don't believe in gravity all you want, but it's holding you down while you're talking. And you can say all day that you don't believe he's there. You can say all day that you despise his justice and his love. But it doesn't change the
Despise
fact.
gravity's justice?
No, God. But it doesn't change the fact that, Jocelyn, he's there
Well,
and you know him.
gravity's real.
You know him in your heart, and so is God. and you know him in your heart of hearts. Everything you do testifies. Watch this. You're going to say the
Everything I do testifies
to the fact that you
there's
know
a God?
him. Yes, that you know the true God. Like, for example, all of your desire for justice and love and truth and integrity, that doesn't come from your atheism, Jocelyn. That comes from the image of God that is all over you. You haven't been able to shake it loose, and you never will.
So my desire for marriage equality for homosexuals comes from the image of God?
No, your desire
No,
to see,
that comes from God,
No,
right?
you see image bearers of God that you believe are being oppressed. But watch. In your worldview, Jocelyn, that you've embraced,
I go after everybody that's oppressed, and I
like there's some
I
value
love
or
them.
dignity. Like there's some value and dignity in descendants of fish.
Have you ever been oppressed?
Oh, yes. But watch, I have a
You're a white
basis.
male.
I have a basis to call it oppression and injustice.
No, you do not.
Because I have the Word of God. I believe that human beings
You
in the
have
image
not
of
seen
God,
hatred. You
they have
not
value
seen
and dignity.
violence
There's nothing wrong with
on
violence.
people.
There's nothing wrong with violence.
nothing wrong with
in
violence
your
on
worldview.
whom?
In your worldview.
Okay, so who is it okay to
I didn't say
do
it's okay.
violence on?
In my worldview, it's
you
wrong.
just said there's nothing wrong with
In
violence.
your worldview.
No, you're twisting my worldview
No,
because
I'm
you don't
standing
even
in your
understand it.
worldview.
I don't understand your worldview. You don't understand my worldview.
Are you an atheist?
Yes.
Great. Do you believe that we'd evolved?
Are you gonna ask me if I'm a libertarian next?
No.
Come on.
We'll get to that tomorrow.
We'll go to
Okay.
Mad Max. I mean.
No, I mean, do you
Ethiopia?
believe we evolved
Yes.
to get here? Do you believe that we are African apes? Yes?
I have no idea what we came from.
Okay, but the point is you believe that we
I
came
do
here.
not know the answer. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No. I'm not asking you to give me the specifics.
You don't know the answer either. You're just claiming to know the
No, I
answer.
do know with certainty.
you
God
don't.
created me and he created you. And that explains
So
why you ascribe so
is
much
the earth-
dignity
How is the
and
earth
worth.
so much older than what the Bible says it is?
That has to do
How
with
is
your
the earth round?
presuppositions. That has to do with your presuppositions.
Mm-hmm.
And that, by the way, the earth is round. Stupid flat earthers. Anyway, my point, and I think you haven't caught it yet, and I hope you do, Jocelyn. If anything from today,
You know I'm
if
not.
anything from today, I hope you at least catch what I'm saying to you. You're going to walk away from here today, and you're going to act like there's something more to these human beings than protoplasm. You won't be able to shake them loose, Jocelyn. And I want you to know, just if anything else you hear, is that Jesus is God who came in the flesh to rescue rebels like me and you. And he will forgive, and he will give grace to all who come to him for life. He died and rose again. Jocelyn, you got to turn to him for life and forgiveness. It's
what?
not because you're a sinner like me.
No, I'm not.
You need him.
not a
Jocelyn,
sinner.
you're broken and you know it. Jocelyn,
No,
you're
I'm-
broken
I'm
and you
very
know it.
well off.
Jocelyn, what would lead a person who is truly happy, who truly has peace? What would lead them to come here on a Saturday morning and to come here and to be drinking, obviously, to be drinking a Saturday morning? How could you be truly at peace and full of joy if this is the life that you've chosen? How could you truly have it and you're here Saturday morning warring against us who are trying to defend the lives of babies while you come here drinking? Jocelyn, you're not full of happiness and peace. You're torn up inside. I know you are.
Because your religion has attacked me.
I explained that. Those Christians, if
Your
they hurt
religion
you,
has attacked me.
how
And
so?
therefore,
Can you explain?
everything your religion does, I'm going to attack
Can
them
you
back.
can you explain how Christians have attacked you?
They go after everything that is transgender. They want to revoke my rights.
Can I ask you this? And I just want to know your answer to this. I'm going to try to see a basis because you're an atheist, and I don't know what you say is an absolute truth or moral position.
You cannot confuse
I just want
what
to
I
ask.
say as a not true.
No, I'm just
You
asking.
sound like Jeff Sessions
No.
saying an atheist can't tell the truth.
No. I believe that atheists can tell the truth, but they don't have any basis to say
I don't
why
believe
they
a
would.
Christian tells the truth.
No,
They
and
have
that's not
no
a problem.
basis.
That's not a problem. You're an atheist.
Someone that
You're an atheist. There's no God, right? There's no meaning. There's no purpose.
So what?
There's no value. But yet, you see, you can't shake it. There it was again. There was the image of God. You can't shake it loose. You can't shake it loose.
What
Let
is
me
the
ask
image
you.
of God?
Well, you're a reflection of God himself. God created us in his likeness to be like him in his world, to enjoy him and each other, right? To delight in God, right? Now, I want to just
Your
say,
God
I want to ask you,
It's
Jocelyn.
a list of negative rights.
Jocelyn, let me.
You know it.
No. He's a list of positives. Love
He's a list of negative
your neighbor.
rights.
Love your neighbor. Well, let me ask you. You don't have a problem with like a negative right. Let me ask you this: is it okay for men to kidnap little boys or girls and to rape them and dismember them? Is that allowed in your worldview?
Is it okay for priests to
No, hold
sexually
on.
molest
Well,
children?
No. It is a wicked sin, and those priests deserve to die.
Then both of them are no.
Amen. But I have a basis to
Don't
complain.
amen me.
Every priest that molested a child deserves the death penalty.
What about every Christian?
Every Christian, every professing Christian who molests a child deserves the death penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we got that out of the way, by the way, the reason I can say that is because this Bible, it demands that of people who rape or molest. Now let me ask you.
But your Bible also tells
from your
people
position,
that you own the women and the children that you invade.
and well, hold on. You don't have any problem with any of that. You're a bag
no,
of
I have a
protoplasm.
problem with that.
Could I borrow your megaphone for a minute?
Go ahead, girl.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Kelsey's
Now-
got a satanic sticker on it.
Now, so I want to ask you. I have a basis to complain about the molester, right? I have an absolute standard. But what's your basis to complain about the man who kidnaps and rapes a small child? Is that condemned in your worldview?
Yes, it is.
Why? That's a bag
Because
of
when
protoplasm.
your rights infringe upon another person's rights, you lose your right.
Who created that standard? You?
A man, just like a man
What
created
man?
your standard.
What man?
Whatever man created.
Why
it.
does that obligate me? Because some bag of stardust made noise.
So some man created your standard.
No, God spoke, yes,
He
through
was
men.
inspired.
God spoke, yes, through men and revealed himself, but your position is that all of us are descendants of fish. And you're saying that some descendants of fish said you
I'm
ought not to
arguing
hurt.
evolution. I'm not an evolutionist.
You're an atheist.
I'm not an evolutionist.
I thought you said you were.
No, I'm not an evolutionist.
So how did we get here?
I'm an atheist. Just because I don't believe doesn't mean I can explain it.
So
You're a
on the
Christian.
basis,
You can't explain
so
it.
on the I can absolutely with
No, you
certainty.
can't.
God has revealed himself and he's
Not to where
spoken
it's
to us.
believable.
Well, I've already demonstrated to you that your position collapses because you have no justification for all these appeals to science, logic, or morality. You're literally living by faith,
Is
Jocelyn.
this the same speech you gave the Mormons?
They have a different
The
worldview.
Scientologists?
No, they have a different worldview than you. Totally different worldviews. Now, all of these appeals you make, all you say ultimately, Jocelyn, is, well, I believe by faith. I accept it by faith.
No, I don't believe in faith.
No, you do.
No.
You already said you do. You said, I don't know, but
Okay.
that's
you
what I
may-
believe.
I may have said that. You may be twisting my words.
No,
But
you can watch this
I-
again. You'll see.
I know what I believe. Oh, I'm sure it'll be up.
So, great example is that you have no complaint against a child molester.
By the way, I'm not a spokesman.
Well, that's all right. I mean, I think that this conversation, Jocelyn, demonstrates something. That we can have a loving, respectful, caring conversation with each other outside of an abortion mill.
When your religion stops attacking me,
Jocelyn,
then maybe we can.
this is what I wanted to get to.
Stop attacking my rights.
Well, I'll say this one last thing, okay? I wanted to see how you
your
felt.
religion
I
stops
wanted to
attacking
see.
my rights, then maybe we can agree on something.
What
Until
if
then,
what
I'm
if the
gonna be
child
opposed to
molester
you.
said that to you? You just condemned
I
the.
don't-
You
You're comparing me to a child molester.
No. You didn't
just
hear that.
compared me to a child
No, I
molester.
didn't.
No, let's talk about me.
Jocelyn, I didn't
Let's
say it.
talk about me.
You said you'd have integrity. I didn't say that.
Let's
I
talk
said
about me.
you condemn the child molester, right?
That
now
has
what
nothing
if
to do with
what
what we're
if
talking about.
yes it does. What if they
You
said
know
to
what we're
you?
talking about.
What if they said to you that you condemn the child molester rightly? You condemn them. Now what if they said to you, Jocelyn, stop infringing on my rights? You would say, what are you, crazy? I'm not infringing on your rights.
When your rights intrude on another person's rights, they are null and void.
So, let's get
Just
to
like
this.
the greatest example right now, and this isn't going to happen, but let's say you pushed your hand out to touch me, and your rights ended at the point your hand touched me because they affected me. That is the way that's explained.
No,
But
I have a basis to say all of that. You don't. You're an atheist.
Let's get back to this. Why
Still
does,
haven't answered.
why does your religion attack transgender people?
I've just tried to explain.
No, you did not.
I just tried to explain.
You did not. You were talking about child molesters.
Okay, let me change it then. I'll change the scenario.
You were talking
Let me-
about child molesters.
Let me change the scenario. Okay? Let's say that there's a man who is married with 8 children. And you find out
Sounds like a Mormon.
It does. You find out that, or his wife finds out that for the last 10 years, he has been cheating on her with hookers. He has been sleeping around, and she finds out she has an STD. would you morally condemn that man for his behavior?
What does that have to do with transgender
I'm answering. Would you condemn him? Would you say that's not right? Would you do it?
If he made a covenant with whatever, and he made a promise to this woman,
Promises
then
matter.
yes.
Promises matter.
Then yes.
Not in your
I would
atheism.
condemn him.
But
No, you're not answering the question. You keep avoiding it.
I'm getting to it.
Why does your religion
I'm getting
hate
to it.
transgender people?
I'm getting to it. I do
Why?
not hate you. I do not hate
Why
you.
do you oppose us
And the
at every
scriptures,
step?
the scriptures command us to love you. And anybody that
Tell
falls
us
short of
why
that,
you hate us.
I don't hate you. I just said I don't. And the Bible commands
you oppose us?
to love you. Can
Why does
I'm trying to
Christianity
answer.
oppose us?
I'm trying to answer. Can you give me 20 seconds to get the answer out?
You're going into child molesters that are Mormons.
Ready? 20 seconds. Let me finish the thought.
Okay.
I demonstrated to you that you do condemn people for behavior, sexual behavior, that is not morally right. You condemn the adulterer. But the Bible tells us more than just adultery is fallen and sinful and disharmonious. It tells us a number of things. And listen, homosexuality is one of those things. So is adultery. So is heterosexual sin before marriage. It's not just homosexual sin, it's heterosexual sin. And one of those things that displays fallenness is when men, the Bible says, men go to be with men and women to women because it is disharmonious and against nature. Now watch, I've already demonstrated to you that you do condemn people for sexually broken behavior. The Christian
We're not talking about
says,
sex, we're talking about gender.
the Christian says,
We're talking about gender.
fantastic.
It's different.
Then let me give you the gender. The Bible says that God created us, male and female.
Then how did he create intersex people?
We live in a fallen world, and there are obviously instances of brokenness, and we have to come alongside and love people who are sexually broken. And anyway, but watch.
So
but watch.
where does it start? Where does it stop?
Well, let me just demonstrate to you. You said that you were a white male.
I was defined white male at birth.
When you say define, and I know this is getting intensely personal. If you don't want to answer, you don't have
of course,
to.
bring it.
Okay,
We don't care.
But I tell me where I need to stop because I don't want to be offensive or
Bring
abusive.
it.
Okay.
You've already been
Were
offensive and
you?
abusive.
Were you? But I care for you. Telling the truth isn't offensive or abusive. Were you born with male parts?
For the most part, yes.
Okay. And if we were to do a biological examination of your DNA, your makeup, would it be male or female?
I have no idea. Never done it.
Okay. Well, let's assume that if we did a scientific
You're
test.
already assuming, and we're going this way.
Well,
and that way.
I'm saying the scriptures define for us gender roles.
We don't care what the scriptures say.
I know you don't. But I'm saying now if I leap into your position and I say, okay, scientifically now, what parts were you born with and what are you genetically? I'd be willing to bet you're a white male.
What brain were you born with? It's already been proven that at
No.
12 weeks,
No.
you're already saying at 12 weeks, the person is a human being. So at 12 weeks, the brain is formed, and then at 18 weeks, the body's genetics starts to be formed. If
No,
there
no,
is a hormonal imbalance
That's not
in
true.
that
Jocelyn.
time, that is true.
It's not true.
You cannot contradict what
Jocelyn,
universities have said.
Jocelyn, it's
Your
the moment.
religion does not say that.
You just said that it's like 18 weeks when the genetics start forming. It's at the moment of conception that all the biological components of a human being get into play.
This goes into birth control, and
No,
you know we're not
no,
going
no,
to
no.
be on
I'm talking
that.
about the science. The science of what takes
The
place
science proves
at the
that
moment of
transgender
conception.
people are real.
I'm wrong. That's why they're still trying to find it because it doesn't exist.
So what about intersex people?
So, and you asked me the question
Are
about the
they
Bible.
real?
You asked me the question about the
Are
Bible.
intersex
When you
people
say
real?
intersex, what do you mean?
They're born with both parts.
Yes, there is a small number of human beings
You're standing
that are
really close to one right now.
that are born that are disfigured when they're born. They're born with parts of them that are broken.
So what are,
and
they
we live
supposed to, what are they supposed to do?
we have to come alongside people just like that and love them and take time.
Okay, so your
What we
worldview-
don't do is start hacking away at body
No,
parts.
your worldview is saying we're going to look at what the body shows,
Yeah.
but we don't care what is inside the brain. You don't. I mean,
Can I
you
ask
don't
you
care
this?
what's inside the brain.
Can I ask you
So
this?
these people are going to kill themselves.
Can I
What
ask
just
you this?
happened?
What would you say to the person that came to you and said, Jocelyn, I'm struggling right now? And you said, well, tell me why you're struggling. How can I help you? And they said, I feel like my legs aren't supposed to be there. Like I wake up every day and I'm horrified
Jeff,
over the fact that I
is
have.
a stupid analogy. And you know
No,
it.
there are people that have this body dysphoria. They have a problem with their body parts, and they say my arms doesn't belong in my body.
At this
would
point,
you advise them
at this point,
to cut it off?
This conversation's over because
Okay.
you're going to legs, and that's stupid. That doesn't involve the brain.
I think it shows a self-refutation because the brain. Okay, Jocelyn, I love you, Jocelyn. Whenever you want to talk, we'll talk again. Okay?
Can we do this?
Yes. Thank you, Jocelyn.
Hi, Mom.
Okay.